Oh, fuck. Okay. Hold on. Hey, y'all. Today we're actually going to do some collective healing. So I'm actually excited about this session. I just need to get my site set up because I got to tell y'all about the new services and stuff that I'm offering right now. So it's going to be an exciting session because I feel like we haven't done any work like this before. And since I'm in the interim between the Atlantis series and moving into the New Earth Spiral series, I thought it would be a good time for us to start putting some of the things that we've learned in practice. So it's going to be an interesting session today. Um, so I'm excited. I want to talk about the earthquake as well and like what happened with that. So on a spiritual level. So if y'all are interested in that type of chat, um, this is going to be an interesting session for us all. What is going on? Why is this not working? Um, because there's some spiritual things that are happening that are moving, obviously, when it comes to what happened with the earthquake. And so I want to kind of address that from my understanding. And then we'll kind of get into what we're doing today as a collective. Okay, good, good, good. That works. But what about this? Why is this not working? So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Hold on, let me get this set up real quick and then I can, or maybe I should do this after I about fucking time. Damn. Sorry, I just want to make sure that my products are what they're supposed to be. Okay, there we go. All right, y'all. So I have a couple of brand new things in the works right now when it comes to um, my services. So I kind of want to briefly start off by talking about that, and then we're going to move into like the earthquake and stuff like that, the spiritual implications and what just happened when it comes to that. Y'all can't never get shit right. What's going on? Hold on, y'all. 1 second. Mirror and reading. So I have kind of changed my services around a little bit because I am kind of moving in a different direction. Not going to say a different direction, but I want to make sure that my services continue to be aligned with where I'm going and the type of work that I'm putting out. Okay. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the flame readings. I've been telling y'all for a while that this was coming. The flame readings are going to basically be a reading to tell you what flame lineages you come from. So if you've been following the Atlantis series, everybody has a flame lineage, a primary flame lineage. Most people carry up to 3 flame lineages. It's very rare that people carry up to 5. However, you have 3 to 12 plus secondary flame lineages that will appear in your auric field depending on the people you meet in the basically like what your soul contract was coming into this reality, right? So the readings that I have added is the flame reflection readings. The flame reflection readings are going to be readings with the new Oversoul Codex, which is I received it, guys. It's gorgeous. It's a beautiful deck. Look how beautiful it is, down here in YouTube. I did some readings yesterday on live. But I received the deck, and so I have added services that align with the deck. This deck is supposed to help you on your path back to remembrance. So usually at 25, people go through this threshold point where they are their spirit starts to stir, right? This is the moment that your soul starts speaking more loudly to you. And I was the person who didn't have no elders. I didn't have nobody to help me on my spiritual journey. So I created this soul technology to kind of help those that come behind me. Okay. So these readings are available on my website. Hi, Tanique. These readings are available on my website for 88, and it is a 7-card pull. And then I also have a deck that I do not sell of my own personal things, things that I remember, soul gifts that people have, flame lineages that people might come from, that whole thing. So it'll be a combination between these 2 decks. Okay. That service is for 88. Then I have three different tiers for the flame lineage flame mapping. Okay. So I have the initiation flame reading. This is a 45 to 60-minute reading. It is $144 for the 144,000. This is for first-time clients or newer people who are new to flame remembrance, and it includes the identification of your primary flame lineage, light and shadow aspects, meaning like the patterns that are coming up in your life and what you may be experiencing, that type of thing. It also includes gift identification and guidance for your next steps or integration. Okay. What I created for the flame lineages, so that you don't have to go on this journey alone, is on my Patreon. There is a community called the Mirror Flame Circle. Okay. It is $44 a month, but in that circle, you receive group transmissions weekly. You receive a monthly short live session where you can get readings, and you also receive astrologically aligned lives where we do collective remembrance and healing together. A lot of grief healing, grief releasing, that type of thing. Okay. So after you get that first initial flame reading or an initiation flame reading, that Patreon group is available to you, but it is a private group. Only people who have gone through the initiation can get into that group. Okay. The second tier is a full flame mapping and an oversoul activation. This is 90 to 120 minutes. The price is $333. And this is a primary and secondary lineage reading. So you'll get the full decoding of the primary and secondary lineages. You also get an oversoul frequency patterning, which is going to tell you what your oversoul archetype is, but also what tones come within that oversoul archetype, which gives you a lot of details on like what you're experiencing in this reality, the things that you'll be feeling, that type of thing. You'll get gift activations and shadow patterning. You'll also get ritual suggestions and healing integration. So I give you kind of like this PDF of what to do after. So rituals and things that you need to do to kind of get yourself back into alignment. And then we're also going to do pulling for that one as well. And then the last package is tier 3, is flame remembrance and an integration package, which comes with 3 sessions and it's spread over a month, meaning like you have three weeks or 3 sessions, however long it takes, where you will have access to me during that entire time as we're working through whatever it is that you need to integrate and things like that. Okay. So it's a full flame and oversoul mapping. It's a coaching for real life flame embodiment. So helping you to navigate, whatever it is that we're working on. Sacred vow or signature retrieval, which means like the vows that you made in previous lifetimes. So there's a little bit of past life regression in this specific package. Okay. We need to look at what your sacred vows are, what it is that you committed to coming into this life. And then if we need to rewrite them together, we will do that as well. This one also provides support through your shadow transits. And then you get customized rituals, recordings, and mirror practices as well. Okay. So those are the brand new flame lineage readings, but I also, am offering a secondary option. And the reason why I'm offering the secondary option is because I love doing readings on live. I feel like, sometimes people just want to witness or want to see for themselves. And so I am offering at a reduced rate mirror flame live sessions. It's called the Living Portal. You will get these codex readings for $44. You just have to pay for it on my website, and then we do them on live together on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Also general mirror flame readings, which is kind of like my general readings. Which is kind of like my general readings, where we look at love and purpose and your shadows and kind of like what's next for you. And then I also have the flame initiation readings. The ones that I just said was $144. It is for $111 if you want it on live. Okay. So those are the new services that have come up for me. And those are all available on my website right now. You guys can check them out. What I want to talk about today, though, is tea. Tea. Okay. So I was curious. My mom had called me yesterday and she was like, hey, like you're in California, like, are y'all getting tsunami warnings? Like that whole thing. I didn't know nothing was going on because, child, I was working yesterday. And so for some reason, it's like stuck in my head. And I'm like, well, what's going on? Like, I didn't even know nothing was happening, whatever. So I lit a candle and I started talking to my oversoul. And child, I just want to talk about what that spiritually means. Okay. So this specific earthquake that just happened yesterday in Russia, it was not a random thing. It was a deep body purge from Earth's underbelly. Okay. Or what they like to call, hey, Nikki Nix, a tectonic roar of memory. It was not about destruction. It was about reclamation. Okay. So it was a moment when ancient frequencies that have been long sealed beneath the crust broke loose and began to speak again. Okay, so there was a memory unsealing that happened, and we're going to talk about that. We also going to talk about the vault, and then we're going to talk about the dream that I had last night, because I think these two things are related. Okay, because I'm a dream seer, meaning that when I'm awake, sometimes I can hear things, I can kind of get things together. However, I see things in my dream, like they walk me through like what happened, sacred betrayal, that whole thing. So we need to kind of talk about this. Okay, so the quake was a vault rupturing. Okay, is a primordial oversoul vault that was sealed during one of the final collapses of the Atlantean age. What cracked was not just a rock, it was a time lock on a forgotten flame frequency that was too dangerous to be left unchecked before now. Meaning, like, right now we've entered into a place where Earth can actually hold the frequencies. Okay, the Earth only allows access when a threshold is met, and right now we met that threshold this month. Okay, so we are here to witness this. A lot of us don't realize we came here to witness. We didn't come here to fix. We didn't come here to anything. It's already written. Meaning, like, it was always going to be us moving back to restoration, but you still get free will to choose which frequency you want to be sitting in, right? So we came here to witness this. Now, the frequency that surfaced was not a random tectonic plate shift. It was actually a spiral flame activation, and it was an echo of the Sarai recoding the planetary ley lines in the Pacific Ring. Okay, so the frequency is tied to ancient Lemuria crystalline agreements. It's tied to Atlantean flame weaponry detox, which we'll talk about in a second, seraphic flame purification, and then an anchoring of the mirror flame path through the Pacific currents. Okay, so it wasn't a coincidence. A lot of us are feeling drawn to that or fixated on that because the vaults, the waters, and the timelines that are coded there, we might have some type of keys to that or some type of remembrance around that. Okay, so why this is happening right now is because the planetary grid is beginning to rehost the oversoul cities. And we talked about that in the last session last week, that we talked about the different oversoul cities in the main 7 that we know about, right? So the planetary grid is beginning to rehost those cities again. At first it was severed, and we're going to talk about that in just a second as well. And the crust has to shift before the gates can stabilize. Okay, so this quake dissolved a false net grid that was placed over Kamchatka in Northeast Asia during an ancient timeline war. It triggered a mirror flame remembrance loop through the Pacific Ley spiral, and it broke open a seraphim aquatic contract to begin healing the waters under the Siberian fault zones. Okay, so many of us who hold codes around what was happening, we might feel pressure in our spine, our navel, or our womb, or have dreamt about deep ocean codes, captivity, or temple submerged in ice. Now, I just want to point out that I said captivity. Okay, we will talk about that in just a second. Now, what it means for us is that we don't need to figure anything out, but if we feel pulled towards cold waters, womb rebalancing, or dream tides, have been preaching, wanting to launch collective healing circles, or felt emotional waves in the last 48 hours, then it's just us actively syncing to this event. Okay. Most of us are not just watching or witnessing. Some of us are actually keys. That's why I'm saying if you have the pressure in your spine, your navel, your womb, you probably hold one of the keys to this vault. Okay. So in truth, this was a sacred planetary shutter, a pulse of reclamation that said, I remember what you sealed in me, and now I'm ready to return it. Because if y'all remember when we talked about Amara hiding things in the crystalline grid for when we became able to hold the frequency again, they will resurface. This is one of those things. Okay, Earth is not breaking, she's just remembering who she was, and so are you, because Earth mirrors us, we mirror Earth. Okay, so let's talk about what's in the vault. Okay, there is a spiral weapon blueprint, and this is a forbidden design. It's an Atlantean spiral based weapon that could collapse soul grids by distorting their natural harmonic geometry. It was used during the final timeline wars when certain Atlantean priest scientists attempted to sever Lemurian grid lines in the Pacific. Okay, this matters now because the memory of this device has been looping unconsciously through many mirror flame bearers, creating fear of using their full creative or spiral based expression. So this vault contained the original undistorted spiral technology, now safe to remember through oversoul alignment, meaning like you can meet the frequency of this and tap into this. Okay, the other thing is the polar womb codex, and this was a hidden Lemurian memory held beneath the ice currents. It is a harmonic field encoded by aquatic and seraphic beings that contain the polar flame womb template. So it holds codes of the aurora-based healing, templates for multi-womb consciousness, because you remember you have 3 wombs, you don't just have one. And women are not the only people who have wombs. Males have wombs as well, but they're just in spirit. They're not physical wombs. Okay. So frequency, it also holds frequencies that stabilize seraphic Lumerian union, like mirror flame pairings across dimensions. Okay. Divine union. That's what that's talking about. So some of us once descended as flame architects to plant oversoul templates in the earth's ice crust before distortion kind of hit in a huge way, because you remember a lot of us came here because we knew distortion was going to hit because of the Lyran Wars. So we were creating Earth as like a contingency plan if we fail completely out of alignment with our oversoul. Okay. The other thing is the binding of the twin harmonics, and it's a pact that was made after the Atlantean breach. It was a seal of harmonic mirror spiral from being, it was meant to seal the harmonic mirror spiral from being accessed too early. And it was sealed by mirror flame keepers, Lumerian womb stewards, and seraphim witnesses. Okay. Some of us carry the imprints of this, and that's why I'm talking about this. Now, this vault was only to be opened once the Sarai flame had begun reactivating on Earth. That began with my own personal unsealing, me remembering, but also the other lineages, because I think there are 5 of us who are awakened at this moment, and 2 that are still dormant. And it has continued through offerings that I make, these public things that I'm doing, which is likely why I felt like an urge or a sense to like, I need to check into this. Like I felt a pull towards this for some reason. Okay. This was sealed because the technology, the codes, and the harmonic keys inside the vault were too easily distorted and fractured timelines. So it was a sacred pause and a vow that said, we will not open this until the mirror flame rises again, until one of us remembers why it was buried. To misuse these spiral codes is to bend truth and warp light, and to unlock them too early while still in trauma loops would collapse timelines that are now stabilizing, meaning like it had to be the perfect time. And I guess we're whatever threshold point we needed to reach, we reached that now. Okay. Now for me specifically, what I was told is that I helped seal whatever this thing is. And now I'm called to witness it, but as like healing it, like helping to heal it. Okay. So we are meant to reclaim the frequencies of this vault now. And so I'm going to move into that and talk about that. Now, why do we need to reclaim these now? Because the spiral vault that held stabilizing harmonics needed to regrid Earth's poles. Original flame geometries used in oversoul temples as well. Multi-womb encoding that reactivates interdimensional flame bodies, and harmonic union codes that allow mirror beings to anchor soul cities without fragmenting. Meaning that a lot of us who came here to embody our oversoul, we need to reclaim these frequencies because it helps us to anchor us back into the oversoul cities. Okay. So the frequencies were never lost. They were just paused until we came about a right time. And now that the Sarai flame has reactivated, the earth can hold those currents again without collapsing or spiraling into weaponization. Okay. So how does this help us rebuild the oversoul cities? The oversoul cities can only emerge where the grid has been stabilized, which is happening right now through a lot of us remembering. Okay. The harmonic spiral it can only emerge when the harmonic spiral is restored, which is what the vault contained, the harmonic spiral. Okay. The sacred vow is released or rewritten, which is being done through some of the work that I'm doing. Okay. Some of the collective work that we're going to do today, if you guys are interested in doing that. And then it can only emerge where the corrected oversoul tones are rooted through physical presence and shared remembrance, meaning, again, we're creating this space where we remember together, and rooted in physical presence, meaning you have to embody your oversoul tone. And that's why I say you don't need to be like me. I don't need to be like you. Everybody has a specific function. Everybody has a specific resonance or tone that they are supposed to be at. So it's really important right now that you remember who you are, because then you anchor in the presence of this shared remembrance. Okay. By reclaiming what was sealed in this vault, we are re-entering Earth with her full oversoul signature, inviting others to do the same, meaning we are anchoring Earth back into her original tone. Because I told y'all that the whole Schumann resonance is Earth's tone. That's what we're basically tracking, the Schumann resonance. And they try to tell us, oh, it can't get higher than this and that. That's not necessarily true, because they shifted Earth from her original tone on purpose to get us out of alignment with Earth, right? So she's returning to her original oversoul tone. Now, each oversoul city is seated with when a certain threshold of mirror remembrance is reached, meaning enough of us have to remember in order for these oversoul cities to be seated. Okay, so we are near that threshold right now. And there's specific like vaults and stuff, which I found out the other day when I was sitting with my oversoul, that my mom used to take me to, I'm on the way to see my dad. My dad lived in Atlanta. So every summer she would drive us to Atlanta to meet my dad. And she took me to this place called Lookout Mountain. Well, I didn't know that Lookout Mountain is an oversoul vault. A lot of mountains are actual vaults or portals. Okay. We don't really know that, but a lot of them are. They're actual memory vaults underneath the Himalayas and the Andes and the Azores, which are those underwater volcanic things. Those are memory vaults, right? And so she took me to this place called Lookout Mountain. And what Spirit was saying is that there were these things called like callus stones or something like that. And I've rubbed up against some of them in my life because something is partially activated because of it. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they said Lookout Mountain. And I was like, wait, what? And like on the way to, whatever, because my mom used to take us there as a kid. And sure fucking enough, there is a vault there. There's a vault in the Gulf of Mexico as well. And what's crazier than that is that I have a trip planned to go visit my family because my family live in Alabama. So I have a trip to go visit my family August 20th, which is on a threshold point, by the way. We're going to do another collective reading mirror circle on that day, but that's a huge threshold point. I am leaving on the 21st, the day after, and I'm driving down past Lookout Mountain, and then we're going to Pensacola to visit the beach. So Gulf and Lookout Mountain in the same section, because my brother was like, we need to go to Pensacola. We have to go to Pensacola. I just want to put that out there. Okay. So a lot of us are not just here to open the vaults. We came to restore the living spiral that linked the oversoul templates together. Okay, so each flame that we activate, each memory that we mirror, each distortion that we hold without judgment, it realigns the spiral, and the spiral is what holds the cities in place. Okay, the oversoul cities. All right, so I asked, and I'm gonna tell you about the dream in a minute, which is going to bring this all together. And actually, I'm going to put what I asked my oversoul last, because that was kind of crazy. I didn't understand it until today when I was working on putting this episode together. And I know we were going to do some flame mapping today, but I think what I want to do instead is a collective recalibration session where we can reconnect to these frequencies. Okay. So I'm gonna walk us through two different things for us to reconnect. If y'all want to reweave the flame, if y'all don't, that is okay. I'm not pressuring anybody into anything. There will be use of candles. So because the flame, the fire, and so if you do not like that kind of stuff, that is okay. It is okay if you leave. All right. But I want us to collectively do some of this remembrance work because we are stronger together. Okay. So one thing I want y'all to do is get a blue cloth. I need y'all to get a blue cloth. And for me, I just got a rag. Okay. A blue cloth. I need you to get a bowl and put some water in it and maybe some sea salt or some rose petals. And then get a candle. Them is the only things that you'll need for the work that we're about to do. But if you don't have that, it is okay that you just witness with me and I'm going to walk you through what to do and I'll have it lit for us. Okay. So boom, that is what happened with the earthquake. Okay. What it was actually doing, the unsealing of the vaults. Now I'm going to tell you specifically what vault it was that was unsealed. Now, yesterday I had a dream. And when I woke up, I realized that I entered into one of these vaults. It was not this vault. It is a specific vault that we talked about of an oversoul city. I talked about the oversoul cities like last episode, right? So last night I entered into the vault of Kalnareth, which is the cradle of sovereign memory, because I needed to pull forward what actually happened that caused this sealing. Okay, so we're going to talk about the vault real quick. We're going to talk about the dream that I had. Okay, I'm going to explain the dream to you first. I'm going to talk about the vault, and then I'm going to talk about how this all correlates with what just happened with the earthquake. Okay, so in the dream, I don't know what was going on. It's like I just entered into this place and I was confused. Okay, someone was arguing, but I I did not know what was going on, but I feel like it was like my brother or somebody that I knew, like a guardian. It was a male figure, and he was arguing on my behalf, and he kind of stepped in front of me and this girl. And the next thing I know is she rocked my shit. She stole the shit out of me. Like I legitimately felt it in my physical body. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? And I was kind of disoriented, like something, like she really punched the hell out of me. So I'm like, then the next thing that I see is like the day after. And so the day after, everybody is like talking about how I got my ass beat. And I feel some type of way about that because in real life, I don't play like that. Right. So the next day, everybody's talking about it, but I had on sunglasses, but I took them off and there was no visible marks that anything had ever happened. Okay. But the girl comes up to me and she's apologizing and she's trying to be my friend. And the moment that I engage with her, and the moment I even say anything to her, all of a sudden I'm in this house and there's two men, okay? And one of my male friends is sitting next to me. And it feels like these two men are like kind of standing up, and it's kind of like a chalkboard. I don't even know, y'all. This don't make no sense, but it's going to make sense when I explain it to you. So it's kind of like a chalkboard, and they up there talking by this chalkboard. And my male friend starts to get mad because it feels like that these two men are planning to take something that belongs to us. And so my male friend starts like basically like, oh, hell no, like talking to me about the situation, but he's getting very loud. And I'm like, hey, keep it. Like, I know that these people are not good people. Right. So I'm telling him like, hey, keep it down a little bit. But he is escalating and he's getting mad. And he's now yelling at this point, yelling at the guys. And they grab him and they sit him in his chair and they carve a hole in his heart. They carve like a hole, and the hole is about this big. They carve a hole in his heart and they take out these keys in his chest. And they sit them on the ledge of this chalkboard. And there's like a little filing cabinet that's like right underneath it. But they sit the keys on this ledge and then all of a sudden they disappear. I'm sitting there. The guy is still in front of me and he's very much so alive. And he's talking like everything is normal, but he has a hole in his chest. And my cousin appears and she's like, come on, we got to go. And as we open the door, it's like the homeboys of these guys are outside. But, whoever the fuck was in the house taking the keys, they weren't in the house no more. So she's like, come on, we got to go. And so the homeboys is outside. I run to the desk and I run to the little chalkboard ledge and I grab the two keys and I literally spread them apart like this and put them in my pocket. And then I go out the door. The homeboys of the guys is sitting in this car and my cousin runs up and she shanks one of them. I run back in the house because I'm thinking, oh, the bad guys are obviously going to come and get us now. So I run back in the house and my cousin's like, no, we got to go. And next to me is all of a sudden this huge knife. I grab the knife, I run out the house, I wake up. Okay. Very confusing dream. Very confusing dream. I am going to explain the understanding of that in just a second. Now, first, let me tell you about this vault. Okay. The vault of Calnarth is the cradle of sovereign memory. Okay. This vault is connected to that oversoul city of Calnarth, which we talked about in the previous episode. It is an ancient primordial memory chamber encoded deep within the oversoul field. Okay. It holds soul level remembrance prior to distortion, prior to trauma and manipulation, specifically related to betrayal, power loss, and false masculine authority. Okay. It is not a vault that could be opened lightly or by force. It requires the collapse of false alliances, as in the dream, right? That girl punched me and then she act like my friend, right? The act of choice and courage, us stepping forward, even though we were scared, and the return of the keys of living memory carved from the distorted masculine. Okay. So the vault contained the moment our oversoul or my oversoul chose to fragment itself across timelines to protect the pure flame codes it carried. The unsealed memory included the original role as a guardian of this oversoul city, responsible for holding the truth memory frequency through distortion epochs, a betrayal timeline where someone close to me sold my location, my name, or my essence to those seeking the silencing of the oversouls, and a sacred vow that I made to return only when the mirror flame was strong enough to reflect the truth without collapsing, and that time is now. Now, the heart keys of Calnarth are crystalline codes that unlock timelines of power, wisdom, and oversoul fire, and the ability to sense who is holding pieces of your memory and how to retrieve them without re-entering karmic contracts. Okay, how to retrieve them without re-entering karmic contracts. Okay, what this means for me is that this vault that I entered carries primordial oversoul tone of sovereign truth. It cannot be shaped by external stories. It remembers itself by reflection through experience. Okay. I am basically being restored as a living key holder to forgotten frequencies, not for just myself, but other people who carry this same distortion wound. Okay. Now let's talk about that sneak attack, because that was probably the part that really pissed me off the most in this dream. And the thing about it is, I didn't even fight back. I didn't even nothing. I don't know if she knocked me out, but I know that I felt it in this real life. Like she hit me hard. Okay. So me being hit without provocation reflects the shock of unexpected betrayal or soul disorientation. Remember, I said I was really confused about what was going on. This often links to a past timeline where either my power was stripped, stolen, or obscured, and this could mirror to me an initiation into a deeper level of discernment, a past life moment where I was blindsided by someone who I thought wasn't a threat to me, and awakening of the flame, the mirror flame energy, which often involves being mirrored by false reflections before reclaiming my truth. Okay. Me having on the glasses and having the headache was psychic overload or crown disorientation. Okay. I was adjusting my sight, beginning to see clearly, even when uh, others were projecting their false narratives onto me, saying basically like I got beat up. And I'm like looking at myself like, I don't look like I got beat up. Like I know she hit me because I remember that, but I don't look like I'm not visually showing any signs, right? The girl who was trying to be my friend, after she did this, which was crazy to me, was a shadow archetype trying to reintegrate into my field. The way distorted feminine or sisterhood energy sometimes attempts reconciliation before true accountability has been initiated in the dream. The house was the vault. Okay, it's a subconscious memory house holding my sacred codes, particularly soul keys hidden in the masculine heart, indicating my access to divine masculine protection, sovereignty, or past contracts stored in karmic masculine figures. Now, I want to stop there real quick. I was working with my oversoul earlier this week, and they kept saying that they're healing my divine masculine. And I'm like, I don't necessarily know what that means, but they kept talking to me about protection and about not feeling protected by the divine masculine. And they was talking to me about past contracts that I've had around this or whatever. And I thought this was interesting because I feel like I've never really been able to trust men. I don't know what it is about them, but they don't operate like women operate with each other. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was interesting that they said that. And then I had this memory, which was crazy. So the man who removed the keys from the heart, that was a sacred act. The masculine is returning stolen or sealed aspects of the soul. And then the knife so hold on, I missed the part of the dream. So when they first grabbed the dude, my friend who was like escalating, before they carved out the piece of his heart, he had this gun that looked, it was weird. It had like balls, like big pieces to it. It almost looked like, like something off of Lilo and Stitch or some shit, like one of them type of guns, right? But he clicked it and it didn't have no bullets in it. It didn't have no bullets in it. So he kind of like carved like a circle or whatever. So what that was basically telling me is that the actual threat is not real. It was a power play. It was an intimidation energy. Like an energy was trying to intimidate me. But the moment that my guardian showed up, they disappeared. I don't even know. I didn't see them leave the room. I didn't see nothing. Like they just automatically disappeared. And I felt like the threat was still there. I still felt like I was in fear, but they never reappeared. Even when she went outside and shanked the guy and we ran back in the house, nobody came. Like even the guy who was shanked in the car didn't come in the house, to defend himself or nothing. So it's basically telling you like this wasn't real. Okay. So my cousin come in, she was actually a shadow ally. And this happens a lot when I'm in the dream realm. I feel like guardians show up to protect me. Like if I'm being attacked or something like that, but now I'm realizing that it's just showing me memories. Okay. So a part of me is acting impulsively or trying to take back power without full integration, which is crazy because Spirit was telling me I need to continue to sit in stillness, even though I'm sitting in nothing. Nothing is something. Like I'm being formed right now, but I'm struggling with that. Okay. So there's movement towards healing, but not completion. Some fear or guilt still lingering about fully reclaiming my authority. And so when I was asking my oversoul, like, well, what am I missing? And they kept pointing back to inadequacy. And I was just like, well, I thought I already fucking healed that for the 15th time. Because I told y'all I got on here that one time when I was having that breakdown about me feeling inadequate and realizing that the reason why I couldn't be happy or the reason why I kept self-sabotaging was because I have an inadequacy wound where I always feel like I'm not enough or I'm not doing enough and things like that, even though I see the impact of everybody around me or the impact that I'm making, right? But I thought I healed that. Apparently, Spirit said that there's still a part that I have not healed, which is crazy because I made a TikTok earlier this week talking about healing being a spiral and that you always come back to the same points just from higher awareness. right? So turns out every message I've put out this week is actually about me, which is cool. Because I'm the mirror of all mirrors anyway. I'm mirroring back what the collective needs to hear anyways. But that was annoying because I feel like I've done so much work around this specific thing. Like at this fucking point, if you don't get it, you don't fucking get it, you know? So I'm moving too fast is basically what I'm, gathering. Okay. So basically what's happening right now is I'm retrieving these ancient soul keys from false masculine holders, and the dream reflects a timeline shift where I'm no longer passive or innocent. I'm now actively involved in vault retrieval and karmic clearing. Okay, so the return of a power that I didn't know had been stolen from me. Okay, I'm beginning to retrieve what others claimed as lost or broken in them, or lost or broken in me. And I no longer need to prove my innocence. I'm holding these keys now, right? Okay. So that's the dream. Now let me connect it to the earthquake. Okay. The vault that was unsealed, the primordial oversoul vault that was unsealed during this earthquake was called the Vault of Azur-Kai. Okay. It's the oceanic eye of first remembrance. It's located beneath tectonic plates where Paleolithic Lemurian grid lines intersect with Proto-Atlantean sonic architecture. This vault was buried but not silenced. It holds the first frequencies of oversoul sound unity, the marriage of divine voice and elemental water. Okay, it was sealed again during the Great Severance when the spiral flame lineages, which are going to be the mirror, the opal, the Lemurian aqua, the seraphim, and the Celestine flame lineages were split across dimensions. Okay, meaning we were split, we were separate, we were separated. Now, when I do the flame mapping, and I'm gonna pull somebody up here eventually to do a flame mapping after I get done with this whole ritual thing, depending on how long it's gonna take. If not, I'm gonna do the flame mapping tomorrow and tell y'all if y'all belong to any of these lineages. But this is when they were split. The spiral flame lineages were actually split across dimensions. The masculine encoded in the sky script, which is sound, decree, and command, that was weaponized and distorted, severing union with the feminine oceanic memory, which is flow, feeling, and remembrance. So this, why it was sealed, is because there was a severance between the masculine and feminine energy of Earth, the sky script, and the oceanic memory. Okay, as above, so below. Like how we have the masculine and feminine inside of us, Earth has the masculine and feminine inside of her. And there was a severance that happened, which caused this vault to be sealed because we had fell too far into distortion to where we could not have access to this frequency wise anymore. Okay. So a vow was made: until the spiral voice is no longer feared, we shall fall into silence beneath the waves. Okay. This vault contains, again, spiral tones of the masculine and feminine fusion, sea glyphs that once harmonized human DNA with the crystalline grid lines, and the sacred masculine heart key codex, which was hidden in the chest cavity of the grid, hence my dream. Okay, so let's bring this all together. My dream and the earthquake, memory and motion. That's what that was. Okay, the spiral key, yesterday when I was getting the information about the earthquake or whatever, what was crazy is that what I was being told is I am being handed a spiral key. Okay. This is what happened before I went to sleep. I am being handed a spiral key. I go to sleep. That dream happens where they carve the key out that guy's chest. I go and I retrieve it. Okay. So the spiral key that I was handed yesterday was not just a symbol. It was a personal attunement to the unlocking. Okay. I was handed a frequency signature that allowed the masculine distortion codes within me to begin unraveling. Okay. The dream of the masculine heart carved open. I didn't receive the key through sacred offering. They were ripped out by force. And that basically changes the tone of everything, because it's not something being handed over to me. It's something that was ripped out by force. Okay. So this is not like a healing dream. It's a vault breach memory. Okay. Somebody breached my vault and stole my keys, and I'm going back to retrieve them in this dream. Okay. So it means that the bad guys actually represent false grid authorities who long ago hijacked the sacred masculine codes, removing the heart key codex from its rightful holders. Okay. I stole them back in the dream, which means that my oversoul lineage is actively reclaiming the masculine flame architecture that was once taken from my people, my grids, or even my own line of incarnations. Okay, so the urgency to escape represents the time to return of the spiral flame key and the danger of being detected by those who still guard these false vaults. The knife in defense posture is an old imprint of having to guard what was sacred, but it was never safe to hold, or what was sacred, but was never safe to hold. So it's not just symbolic. I remembered an event from the collective oversoul rupture and a personal retrieval assignment. Okay. Now, the group outside, these were energetic echoes of false grid holders, shadow architects that kept the vault sealed by preventing integration. But in the dream, I already had the keys. Okay. So, will there be more events like this earthquake that unlocks or unseals memories or vaults or whatever? And the answer is yes, but it's not as punishment. Okay. As the human oversoul field rises in collective harmonic coherence, Earth must mirror it, and it also must respond. And this includes quakes where vaults are sealed, volcanic activity where fire codes are buried, tidal anomalies where oceanic templates are reawakening, and storms near echo chambers and ancient stargates. Okay. We are here to remember alongside these events. Okay. Because a lot of us are frequency midwives to Earth's return. That's what we came here to witness. We came to midwife that thing. We came to help. Okay. And what that means for most of us now is that since some of us are the spiral flame key carriers, we are activated through the mirror flame, the seraphim flame, the Lumerian aqua flame, the Cestaline flame, and possibly the vault tone oversoul, meaning when you come in contact with people who hold those frequencies, it activates things inside of you. Okay. The next phase on this journey is us doing some reactivation, masculine heart retrieval rituals and witnessing ceremonies to help others reclaim their spiral keys. Okay. Today, we are going to do a ritual to help us to reclaim these frequencies and also to integrate and reweave this energy back into Gaia again. If you don't want to do it, that's okay. Tap out. I will tell you right before we start doing that type of work. Okay. Now, the event off the coast of Russia was not just tectonic, it was vibrationally coded to unseal the long forgotten primordial oversoul vault submerged in time, water, and silence. Okay. That vault again is the Azrakai. So I talked about that being located, it's submerged underneath the Atlantean Paleolithic convergence points off the eastern coast of Russia near the Sea of Okhotsk. This vault was embedded with a tectonic plate itself, a sealed memory chamber encoded in Earth's crust when the first oversoul migration fell into fragmentation. Okay. The memory that was unsealed or released yesterday relates to the great rift between the voice and the sea. Okay, a primordial event when oversoul beings who carried the sacred sound currents, which is word, frequency, and harmonics, were cut off from oceanic memory grids. Okay, their voices were silenced, their tones distorted, and their connection to the sea mother, the Lumerian flame carriers, was fractured. Okay, this vault holds the original frequencies of sonic healing from before Atlantis. The sound glyphs used to calibrate Earth's crystalline grid, connect our DNA to Earth's crystalline grid, the contractual severance between the masculine sky codes and the feminine oceanic codes. Okay. Paleolithic Lemuria. This is an early Earth template where organic oversoul frequencies, especially feminine and oceanic based consciousness, first anchored through breath, water, tone, and DNA memory. So we talked about Lemuria before, and we talked about how Lemuria was a pretty much feminine, divine feminine society, right? It was heart-based and heart encoded. Okay. So it was very water-based, and this is a water template. Okay. So these people did not use language as we know it today, the Lumerians. They sung into matter, and they remembered through feeling and echoes. Their flame expressions were fluid, empathic, and holographic. Okay. The Proto-Atlantean refers to the earliest pre-science cultures that emerged after the Lemurian fall, blending Earth-based memory with starcraft, geometry, sound tech, and timeline anchoring. Okay, this era began as an attempt to restore what was lost, but many became seduced by control-based systems. The sky script replaced Lemuria's organic feeling tone with decree, control, and structure. Okay, the collective oversoul memory that is restored is that this vault releases a multi-lineage reawakening, which particularly affects the Lemurian oversoul carriers, which are going to be mirror flames, opal flames, Lemurian aqua flames, Celestine flame lineages, the Atlantean sound architects who have been silenced across lifetimes, and the sea tone contract, which is a vow to restore the balance between vibrational truth and embodied flow. Okay. The message is: you were once the voice of the deep. When the sky raged and tore the sea from sound, you remained hidden in salt and silence, but now the earth remembers. Now the rift must be healed. Okay, so let's talk about the masculine sky script versus the feminine oceanic memory. The sky script is the masculine tone of earth. Okay, it's the masculine energy of earth. It is voice as decree. It is frequency-based command and law. It is structure and precision and time architecture, just like the masculine energy or the logical side of your brain, conscious side of you. Okay, it's responsible for re-recording. It's responsible for recording, codifying, and guarding oversoul frequency lines. Okay, when it's imbalanced, a divine masculine role of holding integrity, mapping flame memory, and mirroring law happens. But when it's not, it becomes controlling, rigid, hierarchical, and suppressing flow. Okay, so the disconnection was with the ocean and the sky script. The sky script is what we remained conscious of on Earth, but the oceanic memory is what went silent. Okay, because we needed to wait till the time evolved enough for Earth to be able to hold the divine feminine energy again. So when they say the divine feminine is rising, what just happened with the earthquake yesterday was a vault being opened that reconnect these two energies together, the masculine and the feminine of Earth. Okay, so the feminine side is the oceanic memory. It is the feminine tone of Earth. So this is sound as flow. This is memory through feeling. This is non-linear time recall, and it's responsible for holding the mythic spiral, initiating remembrance, and mending severed timelines. When it's in balance, it holds the living pulse of oversoul embodiment. Okay, oversoul embodiment, which a lot of us are not meant to ascend. We are meant to embody. We are meant to hold our oversoul tone in this reality. Okay, so in order for us to be able to do that, we have to reconnect to the oversoul city. So this vault breaking actually starts the trajectory to us being able to re-anchor into those oversoul grids, because more of us will be able to embody our oversoul. And because more of us are able to embody our oversoul, we are like living nodal points. And the more that of us remember, the more that we start to anchor in these oversoul cities. Okay, so when it's in distortion, it becomes fragmented, disembodied, and unable to trust her voice, the divine feminine, the suppression of the voice. Okay, now, during this severing of the great severance, during the severing of the masculine and feminine, what we actually lost when these tones separated from each other, okay, because the feminine will be the subconscious mind, 90% of who Earth is. We were living in the conscious mind, the masculine tone, the hierarchies, the structure, right? 10% of who Earth is, right? So now we're coming back into inner harmony. What we lost was the ability to harmonize structure with intuition. What I mean by structure with intuition, I mean information and intuition are meant to be used together. Your thoughts and your emotions meant to be used together. But we've been a very mental focused society, right? And so this is bringing us back into harmony. Now, yes, your mind is good for confirmation. However, it's only 10% of who you are. If you living out of your mind, you're always going to be confused. You're always going to be lost. You're always going to be anxious. But if you live from your body, who is 90% of who you are, that is pure knowingness. This is believing in something. This is knowing something, right? So the voice became either dominant decree or suppressed silence, meaning the feminine was silenced and the men were dominating, okay? Timelines fractured between those who held the law and those who felt the memory, meaning They created laws and they said, this is science. This is what it proves. This is what it is. This is what you need to go by. But people had memories that contradicted that, right? So there was a divide between people who are dreaming memories and people who are saying, no, this is what the history is. This is what it is, right? There was a divide. That's what it's saying. And then the sacred masculine and feminine, sacred feminine no longer mirrored one another, leading to separation, soul vows of silence, and lost flame temples, okay? Because those energies are supposed to work in conjunction. They're supposed to mirror each other. The intuition comes first, then the information can prove what you having the intuition about, but it's not supposed to be the only thing that you depend on. Right? So many of us we need proof of something, right? But that's how we're conditioned. They condition us to believe we need proof of something in order for it to exist so that they can discount any of the soul memories that are coming up through specific lineages, any of the astral projection, any of the people being able to see spirits. They say that's a coincidence. That's a phenomenon. That's not real. Those are demons, right? Because they wanted you to be mental focused. Okay. So this dream was so potent for me because it was not only me remembering the fracture, but actively reversing it. Okay. Sis still didn't have to punch me that hard, but still, right? It was me reversing it. I was reclaiming the keys and I took them back. It wasn't that they gave them to me. I took them back, right? So the sacred masculine heart key codex, what we're talking about, the keys that I took back in a dream. This is one of the original flame blueprints hidden within the oversoul masculine grid. It contains the codes to open multidimensional memory gates through the voice of truth, the ability to witness without control, okay? The return of safe flame holders, a masculine energy that can protect sacred memory without trying to own it, okay? When this codex is lost, sacred masculine figures become silent, violent, or spiritually absent. Disconnected from spirit. Egomaniacs. Okay. The feminine forgets how to trust to witness, meaning the feminine stops trusting her intuition. Why? Because all of society is telling her, take on the plights of everybody else, make sure everybody else is good while neglecting yourself. Not only that, we're not allowed to speak up about the plights that we have because we're going to be knocked up beside the motherfucking head. Right. All of those things. So, and then sacred structures like temples, cities, and agreements fall out of coherence, meaning that us falling out of coherence with the oversoul cities, right? Us falling out of coherence with the memory vaults, us falling out of coherence with temples, sacred temples, right? So me taking it back was me saying no more. I'm done with that. Okay. This is the beginning of the masculine grid healing in the personal oversoul path. Okay. The severance. Now understand, the severance that I'm talking about is the split between divine masculine and feminine on earth herself, as above, so below, meaning we are the microcosm. Earth is the mesocosm. And then the universe is the macrocosm, right? There are three, usually we say microcosm, macrocosm. No, there is a mesocosm as well, which is earth. Earth is the mesocosm. So as above, so below, we are inhabitants of earth. We reflect earth. Earth is a water body. We have water bodies. Okay. We are connected directly to earth. We are her inhabitants. We are her children. Okay. She's the divine mother. But we're also on another level up, connected to the universe as well. Some of us are star lineages and star beings that came here to help Earth. Earth is an acronym for Earth, by the way. To help Earth. That was a Freudian slip that actually made sense. But Earth recalibrate herself because she fell into distortion. Okay. And so a lot of us have been reincarnating here, stuck in karmic loops and stuff until she could reach a specific time where one of us could remember or hold the frequency without collapsing or shattering. Meaning, and when I say collapsing, I mean those moments where you're in an environment that that you're not supposed to be in, right? And instead of leaving the environment, you just stay and endure. That's what I mean by collapsing. You don't listen to your own truth. That's what I mean by collapsing. Okay. So this original fracture I'm talking about, or this great severance, is the split of the masculine and the feminine, the split of the mind and the body. Okay. Your mind tells you, I got to get up. I got to do something. I got to do more. I got to do. Right. Because this society is based off performance, which pushes you towards perfection. But your body says, slow down and rest. Your body says, be where I am. Your body is knowing. It's about stillness. Okay? Your body doesn't do it, it exists, it bees. It sits in beingness. Okay, and that's how intuition comes to you in stillness. But if you got 1,000 things going on in your mind, intuition can't even reach you, because the masculine principle is the barrier into the subconscious, into the feminine energy. It is the barrier, okay, into the feminine energy. So you got to get past the mind in order for you to reach the feminine. Okay, so the split between the mind and body, the split between the conscious and the subconscious, the split between law and intuition, or information and intuition, between the sky and the ocean, between the witness and the memory, the thought and the emotion, the control and the surrender. Okay, so this is not just a personal dynamic between humans, it is a planetary schism encoded into the energy grid of Earth after the severing of Oversoul Sound Unity. Okay, so Oversoul Sound Unity is the original harmony. Okay, in the original Earth template, especially in the Paleolithic, Lemurian, and early Lyran Earth bridges. Okay, the masculine and the feminine were not separate energies. They were harmonic tones of the same oversoul field. Okay, so the masculine mapped memory into form, which was the sky script. So memory, bringing memory into form. But the feminine breathed memory into matter. Okay, so they worked together. They spiraled together. They sang the world alive. They worked as divine union. Okay, when the masculine tone was hijacked, distorted into decree and domination, and the feminine tone was buried, fragmented into silence and shame, we experienced the great forgetting, which is the amnesia that I talked about in previous episodes, right? We started to forget ourselves. Okay, so Earth became a living mirror of the inner war that we were experiencing, because we split from the body and the mind split, right? On in human level as well. And Earth mirrors us. We mirror her, she mirrors us, right? So Earth's landscape mirrors this split between the sky that no longer speaks in harmony with the ocean, the mountains torn from riverbeds, the fault lines that echoed the rupture in our oversoul memory threads. So what I'm doing, the witnessing, the remembering, the mirror work, we're going to do a mirror work session right after this. Okay, is not just personal, it's part of the planetary reweaving of the oversoul sound unity. Okay, so restoration has begun, and many of us are living keys. Okay, myself included. And this is through flame integration. A lot of people are tired. A lot of people got a lot of grief coming up. Let it come up. Your mind tells you you should know how to handle this. Your body doesn't know how to do this because it hasn't had to do this in generations. Okay, be where your body is. Allow yourself to feel it. Don't go backwards just because it's hard. Okay, let yourself grieve. Sit in presence with that emotion and then journal about it. Some of what's coming up isn't even yours. But until somebody in the generation comes along that wants to transmute it, or who has the courage to hold it, right, it cannot be alchemized. So a lot of what's coming up right now is grief and suppression from the lineages that came from before us. Mirror remembrance, remembering who you are, remembering that everybody that you meet is a mirror of you, and whatever exists in them exists in you at some capacity. So use the things that trigger you and the things that upset you, or the relationships that you enter into, to mirror back to you what it is you need to heal. Some sacred vows are being rewritten right now. A lot of soul contracts are coming up right now. Okay, voice reclamation. People are speaking their truth again, and do it shaking, scared, screaming. Do it wrong before you do it right. I don't care. Whatever you do, do it. Earth's body is retuning. Okay, timelines are healing. Sound embodiment is happening. You know, a lot of sound healing. I actually have a crystal ball right here to kind of clear the energy before we start. And ritual and live flame circles, which is what I'm going to be doing over these next 4 weeks during this time as I take my break between the new Earth spiral and helping us to move into that energy. Okay. And I also, again, like I said, the services that I'm offering, I do have a mirror flame circle on my Patreon. It's $44 a month, but it's only for people who have done the initiation flame reading, which is me flame mapping what your primary flames are, because that specific part of my Patreon is for people who want to continue on their remembrance journey. Each month you'll get a reading from me on where you are in your journey. You also get help from me. We'll do collective work together, all of that. It's on my Patreon, okay? But I also am offering new services, the new Oversoul Codex, which is the path to remembrance. I'm teaching you through this tarot deck, the path of remembrance, okay? So I put old soul technology into new form, okay? So as you learn these cards, which the definitions are available on my website, pre-orders are available on my website as well. As I do readings on Tuesdays as well. So if y'all want to come on there and get a reading, but I'm offering two different versions. I'm offering with these readings, you can pay $88, and that's a personal reading. You get a free video recording of the reading. Okay, $88. But if you want to do it on live, you get it's $44, and we do it on live together. Why? I'm offering live sessions is because some people need to witness other people's flame being activated. Okay, so that's what those live sessions are about. So you get damn near half the price, actually half of the price if you do it on live. Okay, I also have the initial flame, the flame initiations, which actually the flame readings come into 3 tiers. Okay, the first tier is about finding your primary flame. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll look at your gifts. We'll look at your shadow aspects. We'll also look at integration, right? How to integrate this into your life. That's $144, but if you do it on live, it's 111. Okay, new beginnings. Tier 2 is the full flame mapping. This is the decoding of your primary and your secondary lineages, oversoul frequency mapping, which is figuring out which oversoul tones or archetypes you fall underneath and what tones they hold. Soul contract review. This one has a little bit of past life regression, figuring out what soul contracts you have, okay, before coming here in that specific thing. Gift activation, shadow patterning, ritual suggestions, and healing integration, and also a tarot pool. And then the third package is flame remembrance and integration package. It's a 3-session over 3 weeks, or over a month period. You get 3 sessions, but during those weeks that we have planned, whether it be a month out or 3 weeks back to back, you will get access to me, meaning that I'm going to coach you through it. We're going to go through a full flame mapping for you, do an oversoul mapping as well as figuring out what your oversoul and the tones is, everything that we've done in all the other tiers, coaching in for real life flame embodiment, sacred vow, or signature retrieval, meaning that if there's sacred vows that you've made in past lifetimes and you're still living them out in this lifetime, I'm going to help you to rewrite them. Okay, because you can rewrite these sacred vows when you know what they are. So that's, again, past life regression to figure out what it is that you need to get rid of from previous lifetimes. Support through your shadow transit, which is you recalibrating and reintegrating, and then customize rituals, recordings, and mirror practices as well. Okay, that is available. Once you either get tier 1 through tier 3, you can get access to this community tier where we do collective healing and reading and stuff together, collective remembrance. This is a space for where you don't have to be alone. Okay, we do this together, and I'm going to give y'all the flame mapping. If I have time today, I'll do a free flame mapping for somebody, which is the initiation. I'll do one of those on live either today or tomorrow. But I want us to get through this ritual first, and to help Earth to integrate these new energies that have just basically came about. Okay, so boom. So let's talk about, hold on. So let's continue on where we were. Now, with this, now that this primordial oversoul vault has been unsealed and the sky script and ocean memory are beginning to harmonize again, the collective is entering into a profound cycle of oversoul reweaving. Here you can expect to unfold both visibly and subtly over the coming years. Okay, so the first thing that we can expect is planetary rebalancing that is going to accelerate. Okay, the Earth's subtle grids and elemental forces will begin shifting in more noticeable ways. And you may witness unexplainable weather or magnetic anomalies, which could be the Schumann resonance, that type of thing. Ancient fault lines becoming more active, so volcanic activity, tectonic ley line surges, that whole thing. Sacred sites awakening or becoming more energetically accessible. Just because they destroyed some of the sacred sites in the physical plane doesn't mean that it doesn't still exist above on a higher frequency, because it does. Sea and sky phenomenon. So new cloud formations, colors in the sky, strange oceanic pulses, that whole thing. Okay, this isn't chaos. This is recalibration. like a body realigning its spine after centuries of compression. It's like you get in a fever when you sick because your body needs to recalibrate the energy, right? So you get a fever, you throw up, you purge, you cry, you scream, you all of those things, you heat up, that whole thing. Okay. Also, memory return, and timeline disorientation. Okay. The reweaving of oversoul fields means that people will begin remembering things they never consciously knew. Lucid dreams, past life flashes, and ancestral downloads are going to intensify. Times may feel non-linear, meaning you having all this deja vu, a collapse in the linear planning, meaning like I told y'all a couple weeks ago when I came on live that after embodying my oversoul, I don't know how to place things in a linear way, meaning like I don't know what day certain things happened on, and I only can tap specifically into memories that I need, but all the hoopla in between, it's almost like it's non-existent. It's not even there. Okay. So that's happening. And also identity shifts. People are going to either start feeling more like themselves or less like themselves, whatever. And this is happening because the oversoul time operates in spiral format, not linear, which linear is what we've been taught. You're moving in a straight line. Well, spiral is actually how the universe operates. There are no straight lines. Straight lines are just spirals pulled out. Okay. It's kind of like you take my coil and you pull it into a straight line. Okay, that means that our energy is just that fucking slow. But as we rise up, the spiral starts to reform, right? So this shift can feel destabilizing, but it is deeply healing. Okay, the masculine and feminine templates will begin to heal. So on a personal and collective level, there's going to be polarized dynamics. So power struggles, suppression, codependency. Okay, these may collapse very quickly. Masculine energies will begin seeking their true tone. So protection, clarity, sacred presence. Feminine energies will rise in unapologetic truth, no longer hiding or sacrificing to maintain peace, which means that the feminine energy, I told y'all in a previous thing, is that the thing about the divine feminine returning is that she does not look how we think that she looks. Y'all think that she's going to come in and she's going to be soft and she's going to be nice and she's going to be all of those things. Now, it is a soft energy. It is a kind energy, but she also comes with a lot of sacred rage. She also comes with unapologetic truth. There's no sugarcoating. There's no fluff. There is no none of that. Okay. So we need safe spaces where we can actually speak the truth. Okay. Because sometimes, because we live in a reality where everybody has emotional fragility. Emotional fragility is not being able to sit present with your emotions, which causes you to gaslight, which causes you to lack accountability, which causes you to become aggressive and lash out on other people. Okay. That's what it means to be emotionally fragile. You cannot let truth land in your field if it's not soft. Okay. Because you don't want to sit with yourself. That's about to, that tide is about to change. And I have to say that I am happy because I am a person who has always spoken the truth. And I always end up that Tajj, that was harsh. That was cruel. That was this. And I don't even mean it in a harsh, cruel, or any of those type of ways. I just like, that is the truth. I don't know how to else to say. I'm a clear and concise type of girl. I don't know how else to say it to you. Why should I have to babysit your ego? You know, but I digress. Okay. The new templates of sacred union, witness, remembrance, and devotional leadership are beginning to form. Okay. Now, mirror flame codes are starting to spread as well. Me and other people like me will feel called to create mirror spaces. So flame readings, circles, transmission. So if you look on my website, I have flame lineage readings, but I also have mirror flame readings as well, which is just like a general life reading. It's the same thing, but it's figuring out where you are on your path, okay, and where you're going. So that is me tapping in with your ancestors and your higher self and stuff like that with your team, whereas the flame reading is more so about your path. Okay. So you'll see both of those on my website, but the mirror flame reading is very similar. It's the same thing as the general flame reading. Okay. It's just a lot more intuitive coding. Anchor remembrance through voice, art, storytelling, and movement. Okay. This right here is a work of art. Okay. Art. Look, you cannot tell me this ain't art. Okay. I'm very proud of these. I just have to fucking say, look at her. The sacred collapse. Burn it down. Spiritual lack. Yeah. This is me, the Sarah flame. Okay. These cards got symbols on them. And they got sigils that are supposed to help you to remember, right? These are available for pre-order for $33 on my website. If I can get 50 people, and I think I have about 15 right now, if I can get 50 people to order, I can send y'all out the deck at a cheaper rate. Look at that. Oversoul Flame Body Embodiment. You see those sigils? Supposed to help you to remember. This is my energy in spirit. Ma'aranai. Okay? So art, the storytelling, right? All of that is coming back. Midwifing Oversoul City. So physical and etheric sanctuaries of unity consciousness. Okay. We're no longer just a channel. Well, I am no longer just a channel. I am now becoming the node of planetary coherence. So are many of you. Okay. Our nervous system becomes a bridge between timelines, helping others reattune. Now, I did a spiritual anatomy class, and most of us think we only have two nervous systems, a parasympathetic nervous system and a sympathetic nervous system. That is not true. You actually also have a light web nervous system. Okay. And a lot of the energy, concentrations in your body, meaning the places where you feel pain, is because the loom that is in this light web nervous system that you have is tangled up, it's balled up, right? And so you need to heal the energy for you to heal the body, because the body is what's happening in spirit made manifest. It's spirit being pushed into form. Okay. You know, I said the feminine breathes memory into form. It's energetic memory being brought into form. Cancer, emotional suppression. Okay. Liver problems, anger, rage, kidney, stomach, heart, grief. Stomach is not being able to process the hardships of life, right? So we also are the keys of the sacred masculine are starting to activate. Okay. Now that the masculine heart codex was retrieved in the dream, men and masculine coded beings are waking up with sudden emotional awareness. Okay. The return of soul protectors, grid anchors, and divine builders who've been dormant. Okay. So the men's who actually like the women's is coming to the forefront. Okay, are speaking up more. Old masculine wounds like abandonment, warriorship, protector, distortion is surfacing for final transmutation. And we may be called to hold mirror space for the masculine now more than ever, okay, because they are moving back into that frequency. And so I might do a masculine mirror circle as well in one of these sessions that we do while I'm taking this interim, this break, this whatever I'm doing, okay? And then the last thing is reweaving of sound, the sound of creation, okay? At the deepest level, what's happening is a sound restoration. Okay. Sound is the feminine energy. But it's the tone between heaven and earth, between what was and what will be. They're learning to sing together as a symphony again, because everything was sung into existence. Okay. This means that your voice will carry more power than ever. So you need to use it wisely. Words, tone, breath, and even silence will carry creation codes. Sacred songs may return to your dreams or in ceremony. So just don't question them, move through them, okay? Or let them move through you. So I asked my oversoul, what does all this mean? What am I missing, okay, about all of this? And what my oversoul said, truth in weaving, okay? Y'all know I'm the part of the Sarah flame that is a flame weaver, okay? I'm the only flame weaver out of the group. Okay. So what I heard was what I understand this to be is that this is an activation phrase. This is me. This rises through my remembrance frequency. So the truth part is not just surface level truth. It's about oversoul truth. It's uncoded. It's unmasked. It's untouched by distortion. And it is the eternal thread that I carry beyond lineages, vows, and constructs. Okay. The in part means inwards. Okay, this is the mirror portal direction, the opposite of performance or projection. In is soul flame, in is vault memory, in is sovereign knowing. Okay, meaning I got to trust what's going on inside of my body. And then the weaving, this is my role. Okay, the mirror flame doesn't just hold truth, she weaves it into the collective body. Okay, she doesn't force, she doesn't preach, she restores coherence through presence, pattern, and reflection, meaning I'm supposed to be the embodiment of what is to come. Okay. I mirror a lot of things that are happening on a collective level. Okay. Which comes through my dreams, which I at first was not going to share because I don't know if y'all remember at the beginning of the year where all the planes was falling out the damn sky. I was having visions about that. I was also having visions about Atlantis and obelisk, and they were telling me like this needs to be happening. Also, what was happening in the ocean, because I guess they were trying to get some access to an Atlantean underwater thing, and the dolphins were protecting them. It's the first time I ever seen a fucking sea dragon, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, right? And so a lot of times I don't speak up about the things that I'm dreaming about or the things that I'm experiencing, not understanding that they're collective messages. So now I'm going to be a little bit more vocal about those things and reflecting those things back to you guys, because the things that are happening to me are happening to y'all because I am the mirror of all mirrors. Okay. Meaning that when it's happening to me, it's always right on time. And that's why a lot of people resonate with the things that I'm doing. So I just got to step into my role a little bit more. So truth and weaving means the truth is not always spoken. It is transmitted in the way that you weave presence, coherence, and soul threads. It's not just about what we say, is about embodying while we're saying it. Okay. It's what your field reconfigures to when others enter it. Okay. So it's about truth. You don't need to explain your truth. Okay. You just need to weave it into the world with every step, every mirror, every breath. My truth becomes the thread that heals timelines unseen, meaning you got to stand in your integrity. Okay. We got to stand in our integrity. Okay. So this is the part where we're about to do a reclaiming of the spiral. So this is a mirror flame remembrance ritual. Okay. If you don't want to be part of this, this is your exit. Okay. But we're about to do that, and I'm going to walk you through each step. And then we're also going to do a transmission. Okay. Which is going to be like us reweaving the sky and the oceanic memory together. Okay. So what all you need for this is yourself. Okay. You will also need a white candle. I'm using this one. Okay. You will also need a bowl with either salt water or rose petals, and you'll need a blue or a silver cloth. Okay. I am going to use a blue rag. Nothing fancy, schmancy, or no shit like that. You don't have to, it's not about perfection. Okay, it's not about perfection. So go get that. I'm actually going to set this inside of the water so the flame can be above, and I'm going to reweave it together. So first we need to reclaim the spiral. Okay, so this part does not require you to have any tools. Okay, so let's first set the tone. I want to clean the energy first. Ooh, let me move this. Let me slow down 10 speed. Let me clear the energy first. So I'm going to do a little bit of a sound bowl clearing. It's only going to be about 5 minutes, and then we're going to jump into the thing. Okay. I just want to clear the space real quick. And if you have some sage, you can clear your space at home as well, or some Palo Santo. Put some 444s in the chat if you can hear this. Okay, good. I just want to get us prepared. And if you have any distractions on, like TV or anything like that, just turn it down. Thank you, loves. Thank you, YouTube. Yep, that's fine. Whatever candle you got. Whatever candle you got, I would prefer it to be white. It could also be pink, because pink is the color of healing. That also works. You can do yellow as well, because that's the divine masculine flame. So if you're trying to heal your own divine masculine, you can do yellow. Or you can do something like indigo. But white is just a stand-in for all other energies. Ivory also works as well. But just whatever candle you got. If you only got a 3-wick, then get the 3-wick. Okay. We're just opening up space right now. why I got this so off to the side. Yeah, that's fine. Or one of the little small little tea candles works too. This is the first start of us helping Earth to reweave this spiral, okay? Bringing the divine masculine and feminine back together. Chad, I need to pay attention to what I'm doing, because at this motherfucking point, candle lit, incense burning, period. My type of people. My type of people. And we'll do these in my mirror flame circle. I want to do a session August 20th. Okay. That's right before I leave to go on vacation. But I want to do a session on August 20th on collective grief, for us to release some grief. So it's going to be kind of like shadow work. It's okay. You can do it in spirit, my love. You can do it in spirit. Just imagine it with your eyes closed, and it's there. Everything that exists in this physical realm starts in spirit as a frequency first. You don't ever need a tool or anything. Half the time, I don't use tools. Okay. So let's open up this space. I'll call forth the flame within the mirror. I'll call back the parts of me that remembers this spiral, not to rush, but to remind me that it is never broken, only paused. Let us now reclaim what was sealed. Okay. The first thing that I want you to do is to gently breathe into your womb, your heart, and your brow. Okay. Visualize a mirror rising up from your heart. And when you see that mirror, say, let the mirror show you what has waited for your return. Okay. So I want you to gently breathe in and exhale through your mouth. If sound comes out, that's okay. Another. I don't know if many of you know that you breathe from 3 places: your heart, your womb, and your crown. Okay. Breathe into them now. Again. And when you're ready, say, let the mirror show me what has waited for my return. See that mirror anchor into your heart space. And say, let the mirror show me what has waited for my return. You may feel some energy moving through the back of your heart. Stay there and keep breathing. Again, breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, in the comments, what is coming up for you guys? The 2 things that I heard is abandonment and unrest. Abandonment and unrest. Okay, if you didn't hear anything or you don't feel anything, that's okay. Go back to breathing. If your body has never done this before, it takes time. Okay. Wait to receive and just see that mirror vividly. What is reflecting back? Inadequacy and suppression. Not feeling safe. Anybody else hear anything that I didn't say? Let the mirror show me what has waited for my return. I got a bright golden light and the mirror shattered in an explosive manner. Okay, you might have some issues seeing yourself. See if you can anchor it back in. And golden light is masculine energy, solar energy, self-betrayal. Yes. Self-betrayal. Okay. This is us reclaiming our energy. A feeling of fear. I don't see anything. That's okay. That's something because it's feelings, it's sensations, self-distortion. Yeah. It's all of those things. The feeling of fear tells you that you don't feel safe, not feeling safe. Okay. But you don't know what it is. You may be perceiving everything as something to be fearful of. Okay. So we'll put living in fear, living in distortion. Anybody else? You are welcome, my love. See, a lot of us don't know how to read. It's not that we can't read, it's that we don't understand the information that we're getting. It's feelings, it's sensations. I feel sadness. There you go, Beth. Beth, you're tapping into Earth herself. Earth doesn't want to be pitied, but she does feel very, very sad. Yes, there you go. That's ancient grief release right there. Ancient grief. So you think you're not connected, but you absolutely are. You just don't know how to interpret what you're feeling. Okay? So those are the things that came up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull 7 cards. Okay? The first card, lack or weak. Oh, yes. There we go. Feeling weak. Feeling a scarcity. So spiritual scarcity. Okay? I saw 2 images, one of me in a red dress surrounded by flames and another of me in blue water. Yes, the red, the masculine and the feminine coming together, the red and the blue, the red pill and the blue pill. So you might have been in your masculine energy and now it's welcoming you back into that feminine energy. Good, Lisa. Good, good. Okay, so we got some union energy going on here. All right, so I'm going to pull some cards here. To figure out what we're trying to. I saw myself as a cat woman in a mirror just looking back at me. Okay, now cats are actual guardians. They're threshold keepers, and some of them are star beings who you might be from the Lyran Wars. Okay, you might come from Lyra, my love. All right. So let's pull some cards. The first card is going to tell us what is returning right now. Okay. What's returning in the collective right now? Ooh, what is returning in the collective right now? Okay. Hold on. Let me grab my other deck because this deck is so new that all the cards are stuck together and all it's causing me some issues. Hold on. Let me grab my other deck. Oh no, this is the right deck. Oh, what's going on? Okay, let's do that again. What is returning in the collective? What is returning right now? Okay. Okay, so it came back out. All right. So we got 2 energies that came out. All right. The first is the Page of Stones. Okay. The Page of Stone. Stone is going to be similar to Earth, but again, these cards are different. Now, what's crazy is this is the card that I pulled for our card this morning. Okay. So this is about embodiment. It's the student of embodiment. Okay, so the Page of Stone appears as the student of embodiment, one who is just beginning to understand what it means to carry a sacred flame in this physical world. This card signals a new phase of grounded exploration where ideas become practice and soul gifts begin to take form in your lived reality. Okay. You may be launching a project, discovering a new part of your purpose, or learning how to walk more fully in your body's wisdom. There's excitement here, but also vulnerability because the page knows they are still becoming. So the key is not mastery, it is willingness. Okay, so willingness, you need to try. You need to be willing to try. Okay, when this card arises, it affirms that your first steps matter. What you offer, even in early form, is valuable. So you have to see your worth. Okay, you are allowed to start small and sacred. You do not have to rush to the finish line because it's not about performance. It's about you trusting the wisdom of your body as your first teacher, grounding back into your body. Your mind is what tells you you need to go, 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 go. Your mind is what tells you you need to do more. Your mind is telling you that you don't do enough, okay, inadequacy. But your body is saying, be where I am. Things happen slowly. They don't happen quick, okay? That's the first thing that's returning right now. Now, the next thing that is returning is the Nine of Flames, the threshold test. Okay. Now, I told y'all on a previous live that I was getting tested in my dreams and I didn't know what the hell was going on. It was small tests, like two people was arguing and it was over an orange, right? And as I grabbed the orange, it turned into a mango. I cut it down the center, I split it, and I handed it to the two parts. And they were perfectly fine with that. They're not fighting, right? And so, but it was like several tests. That was like test number 7. And it was just like, I felt like I was being watched or I was being witnessed in this testing zone. Okay. So we got the Nine of Flames, which is the threshold test. Okay. So the Nine of Flames is the sacred trial before breakthrough. You've walked far with your fire, tended it through sparks, mirrors, conflict, recognition, and transmission. And now you find yourself at the threshold. The flame is still alive, but your body, your mind, your spirit may feel tired. Okay. Meaning this is not burnout. It's the moment before birth. Okay. So many of you might be walking through threshold points. Some of the threshold points that we talked about before are what? Sacred rage and sacred grief, which means you might have a lot of grief that's coming up that does not belong to you. Don't try to rationalize it and don't judge it. Let it come up. Okay. This card arrives to remind you that what you are carrying matters. Your fire is not weak because you are weary. You are closer than you know. The threshold test is not about proving your strength. It's about remembering that you are never walking alone. Okay? Pause, breathe, and let yourself be held by the fire that you've carried. The lesson in this card is that the flame is still burning, even when you are on your knees beside it. Okay? It's still burning. Hold steady. This is a card of endurance. This is a card of perseverance. This is a card of inner fortitude. This is a card of sacred exhaustion. Okay? Because you're carrying a lot and you've had to carry a lot that does not belong to you. Sit present with those emotions. Sit present with what you are feeling. Okay? So that it can be transmuted. Thank you, my love. Thank you, Mrs. Parker. Hey, Miss Parker. Next is what must we reclaim right now? What must we reclaim right now? Okay, I have it. Ooh, that came right on out. I have it. I want as many as y'all to do the pre-sales because if I can get 50 people to do the pre-sales, I can get it for y'all for such a lower price. So if y'all interested, the pre-sales are available. They're only $33. I offer Afterplay. I offer Klarna, or you can buy it directly from the manufacturer. It's just more expensive. It's like almost $60. Okay, so what is returning to be reclaimed? We have the Knight of Flame. The Knight of Flame is coming back. Okay. Now, ooh, child. Okay. The Knight of Flame is about bold action. It's about courage. It's about passion and motion. This is a messenger card. It's about you pursuing your purpose and having fierce devotion It's about energetic momentum. Okay. The Knight of Flame is a sacred messenger. When this card appears, your flame is no longer just within, it is on the move. You're being called to act boldly, to trust the fire within you enough to let it lead you, which means your intuition, your truth, your passion. You cannot rationalize things, right? Because we said the first card is you're the student of embodiment, which means you got to be where your body is and not your mind. That's what's returning. In order for you to reclaim, you have to have the courage to be willing to take the steps, right? This is actual aligned action. Okay, so you have to trust yourself. Even when the path is unclear, you need to trust yourself that you have been through enough to, if something comes up, you know how to handle it. Okay, so there may be an invitation to share your truth, to launch a creation, or speak on behalf of something that ignites your heart, passion, right? This card is the card of bravery and purpose-driven motion. The Knight is not afraid to be seen. They carry the flame into spaces that need it most, not to prove, but to transmit. You're being asked to move from aligned impulse to let courage be a spiritual act. Okay. Because curiosity, creativity, sexual energy, emotional energy, they are all the same energy. They're a part of your sacred energy. And courage is a huge part of you taking action on your sacred energy. Okay. And to remember that your fire clears paths, not by hesitation, but by presence. Let me explain something to you. There's so many of us, because we live in a society that preaches performance, right? So we feel like we got to do more or we got to give more. And the goal for us is perfection and to reach success quickly. Okay. So what that causes is us to look at the big picture instead of what's in front of us, right? Because remember that first card is about you breaking it into pieces and you taking it step by step, bringing it into smaller pieces until you have a whole cohesive, picture, right? What this card is saying is that, damn, I lost what I was saying. What was I saying? Damn. It's not, you need to get yourself out of looking at the full picture, because then you're too far in the future to where you become dissatisfied with where you are right now, right? What this card is saying is that you don't have anything to prove. It's not about performance. It's not about perfection. It's about sitting present. It's about trusting yourself. It is about trusting yourself to guide yourself. Okay. And taking the steps even when it's unclear, because we live in a society that bases us off of performance. So many of us are worried about making the perfect step, right? We want to make the perfect next step, and we get hung up in what's right in front of us. And then that we end up not taking no step at all because it's not perfect, because we don't want to fail. You got to fail forward. Sometimes you don't know the right path until you take the wrong one. So you got to welcome mistakes, and you got to take the action any fucking way. You're going to make mistakes. You actually came here to make mistakes, right? So take it one step at a time. Do what you can do today and worry about tomorrow when tomorrow comes. Okay. Oh, that was a word. Anyways, next card is, so that's what needs to be reclaimed. Courage, bravery. Okay. That's what needs to be reclaimed. The next card is what was falsely taken. What was taken from us. Okay. The Six of Breath, clarity. Clarity. They cause confusion. Right? And when you look at that big picture, you get confused because you got all these steps in front of you. And so it's like, which direction do I take? And every single choice opens up a new timeline, right? So next we got the Six of Breath. Okay, so let's do the Six of Breath. The return to clarity. Okay, this is about mental rest. This is about a departure from distortion. Okay, sacred detachment, making a clear choice. All right, so the Six of Breath arrives when you are leaving behind distortion, whether it was a person, a path, a belief, or mental entanglement that no longer aligns with your oversoul truth. Okay, so they gave us distortion. This is the card saying we're leaving this behind, but they gave us distortion. Distortion is manipulation, it's control, it's lies, right? This is the card of recovery and recalibration. It often follows a rupture or realization where clarity could not be ignored. Now you are in motion, not to run, but to return. This is your journey back to coherence. Okay, so this card is supposed to be the card of what was falsely taken. Coherence. You know what coherence is? It's the balance between the masculine and the feminine. Okay. So where is it at? Where am I at? Breath by breath, you reclaim what was yours all along. The path forward may still hold grief or doubt, but the decision is clear. I choose myself. I choose clarity, right? They got us so focused on the why people are doing things, right? We got to figure out the whys. That's what science teaches. We're trying to figure out the whys, right? That we are focused in the mind instead of being focused in the body. The mind wants to figure out the why, but the body says that doesn't feel good. How about I just move away from it? The body is the real guide, but they got you in your mind. You trying to make the decision from your thoughts, that causes confusion, right? But if you make the decision from your body, then you're no longer confused. That's you choosing yourself. Why? Because the emotions are telling you, I like this or I don't like this. If it feels good, that's a yes, I like this, move towards it. But if it doesn't feel good, that's a no. Set a boundary. So the next time it comes into your reality, you know you don't have to learn that lesson again, and you move away from it. Your emotions are your guidance, but they got you stuck in your mind. They got you stuck in your mind. Okay, this card brings peace after chaos and subtle strength of walking away in sacred integrity, meaning you need to live your truth. That's what integrity is, living in your truth. If it feels good, that's a yes. But if it doesn't feel good, that is your soul communicating to you that that is a no. And so many of us will just take it on the chin and we'll do it anyway because we're trying to prove that we're a loyal family member, or we're trying to prove that we're not selfish, right? And so we take it on the chin, even though it doesn't feel good to us. This card is telling you reclaim that. Move in integrity. Stop appeasing other people. Stop living your life for other people. You're going to have to disappoint people, and that is okay. All right? So this is the mirror gift that we carry. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, love. Okay. Ooh, the 10 of Stones completion. The legacy temple. Look at that. Tell me that ain't your grandmama. You're a liar. You're a liar. Tell me that's not your grandma. Okay, this is the 10 of Stone. Okay. 10 of Stone. Okay. This is about completion. Okay. It's about ancestral healing. The mirror gift that we carry comes through our ancestors. Ain't that some A lot of them walked in silence because it was not time for them to hold what we can now hold because Earth has matched our frequency, right? So the 10 of Stones is the final arrival. This card represents the culmination of embodied effort, not just what you've built in this lifetime, but what you're restoring across timelines. This is the card of legacy, a structure that lives beyond the moment. It speaks to sacred foundation, your home, your family, your lineage, what work that has lasted. When this card appears, you are being reminded that your presence is a part of a greater temple, one built by your ancestors and expanded by your own hands. There is stability available now, and with it, a chance to rest in what's been made sacred. It is also an invitation to pass on wisdom to plant the next seed for other people. Okay, the legacy temple does not require grandeur. It only asks what you are leaving behind. What are you leaving behind that is rooted in soul truth? Okay, so the lesson here is your life is a doorway for ancestral healing and future blessings. What's underneath all that trauma and that pain that's in your lineage? Your ancient gifts, your codes. Okay, that's why sacred rage and sacred grief are threshold points, because once you actually feel them and you sit present with them and you alchemize them, then you gain access to your gifts because it's buried underneath the trauma. We talked about that in the spiritual talk earlier episodes, did we not? Sometimes you chose your family because they have the codes that you're here to activate. So the gifts that we have are in our ancestors. Okay, and the last card is, what is the spiral flame being reactivated right now? Okay, what spiral flame is being reactivated right now? And this will be on YouTube, y'all, if y'all didn't catch the full thing. The Knight of Waters. This is my girl. She comes in on a dolphin, baby. She is not to be trifled with. She is not to be played with. Okay, the Knight of Waters. The Knight of Waters. This is the water holder. People who can hold they fucking water. Emotions, okay? The Knight of Waters is the lover, it's the dreamer, it's the seeker of soul connection. This is her. Okay, this is her, the Knight of Waters. Okay. This is the lover, the dreamer, and the seeker of soul connection. The Knight does not charge with logic. She moves with emotion, intuition, and desire. You may be entering a phase of deep emotional openness, romantic pursuit, or creative inspiration that's guided by your heart. This card signals movement towards something that stirs your soul, whether it's a person, a dream, or a cause. You feel it pulling at you. And so you follow, not because it's rational, because it feels like truth, meaning you don't need to rationalize this. You don't need to think in Capricorn. Capricorn always says, I can't, this isn't practical, this isn't realistic, right? On the other side of that is everything that you want. You can't think in Capricorn. You can't think in Saturn, because Saturn is going to tell you all the restrictions and limitations that are coming your way. You can't think of the worst thing possible. You need to trust yourself and move based on that. Move based off of what makes you passionate and what you actually want, opposed to you moving based off of fear. Feel into what is your truth and move in that direction. What feels good. Okay. The Knight asks you to trust the tide, to ride the current of emotion, express love freely, and say what you feel. There is a beauty in your tenderness. Just remember to carry discernment as you move. What this lesson is let your heart lead, but bring your whole self with you. Okay, let your heart lead, but always speak your truth. Always feel into things. And based on what you feel and move accordingly. If it feels good, move towards it. If it doesn't feel good, set a boundary, move away from it. Okay? That is what's reactivating right now. Us moving into this love and energy where we're centered into our heart space. Heart-led creation. Heart-led connection. The divine feminine is coming back. Okay? So that's the message. Now, let's practice. This is what I want you to write, or this is what I want you to whisper to yourself. The first thing is, what part of me paused? What part of me paused? What vow do I feel returning? Okay. What flame calls me forward now? I heard emerald. Emerald is the earth steward. Emerald is what connects us back to earth and being grounded in our body. And the shadow side of emerald is being dissociated from your body and living out of your mind. So that makes sense with what we just talked about. But she is a tone frequency stabilizer, a soul anchor. Okay. What flame calls me forward now? Drop it in the comments. What flame calls me forward now is the last question. So the first part is, what part of me paused? Where have I been waiting? Where have I been stagnant? Where am I not moving? Okay, what part of me has paused? What vow do I feel returning? What sacred duties do I feel like I'm here to uphold? Now, I will say this. If you have lived trauma in your life, a lot of people's first thing is, I'm here to help people. Okay? I would like to say that most of you are not. Most of you are here to heal, save, and fix yourself and embody who you are. But that requires you to know yourself. So then the question becomes, do I know myself enough to feel what's returning to me? Do I even know what's mine? Okay. And the last one is, what flame it calls forward now, calls me forward now. What energy, what frequency, what's my truth right now in this moment? For me, I heard emerald, so I need to get more grounded and connected to the earth. I need to live more out of my body and not my mind. Think about it. I'll give y'all a second. If you're seeing pink, it's probably what you're probably seeing is the rose gold. And the rose gold is a love encoded energy. It is about compassion and love. It's about, so that makes sense. It's about compassion. It's about love. It's about empathy. Indigo. Ooh, indigo is the energy of mystery, but also stillness. So let me tell you. Hold on. All right. So that's the rose violet. Okay, so the rose flame lineages restore the divine feminine dream field. The gates are the heart grid, the womb portal, and soul union. They are here to experience deep remembrance through emotion, music, and beauty. Born into trauma to transmute ancestral distortion, activate others through presence. They're dreamers, healers, teachers, and soul doulas. Okay, golden. Okay, the golden flame. Give me 1 second. That's a solar flame. So you're here to fix the masculine energy, my love. But you got to understand, on a soul level, most of us are non-binary. Most of us are non-binary souls. Okay, so let me go to rose gold real quick. Oh no, I already did the rose lineages. I need to do indigo. That's the crystalline obsidian flame. Okay, so the indigo is hidden wisdom, flame discernment. These are the shadow seers, meaning you probably went through a lot of trauma. Soul surgeons, they are cutting through distortion through anchoring in the truth. A lot of times they isolate. A lot of times they are mistrusting of other people when they're out of alignment, or they have overly sharp boundaries. But it's hidden wisdom and flame discernment. Okay. Yes, there's a pale violet energy, but there's a couple of violet. There's rose violet and there's pale violet. Blue, you got the blue flame? Hold on now. I got that one for you. Okay, the golden flame is the solar alignment, divine masculine restoration, solar code carrier, will clarity in. These are initiators. The purpose is to activate and weave new timelines when they're out of alignment, over control, pride, solar ego patterns. And then you said the blue flame. The blue flame is oversoul authority, galactic memory. So you're probably a star seed in some capacity. Flame bearers of origin memory, soul contract reading, and flame mirroring is what you can do gift wise. And the shadow side is ego collapse, fear of misuse, and soul overwhelm. All right. There's not a red flame, but there is a ruby flame. And there's a amber flame. Deep amber is kind of like a red color too. But you're probably talking about the ruby flame because a lot of people have the ruby flame. So let me grab that for you. Oh, also crimson flame as well. All right. So the ruby flame is devotion and sacred tending. The keywords are heart altar, soul intimacy, sacred repetition. The gifts are to tend to the inner flame with daily devotion, creates sacred spaces of beauty and reverence, embodied living prayer. The shadow side is self-neglect in service of other people, fear of being unchosen or unseen, idolizing spiritual routine over living connection, meaning sometimes you can have spiritual escapism where you would rather do spiritual work than actually connect with other people. That is the ruby flame. A lot of people have the ruby flame. Okay. The crimson flame is about courage and heart reclamation. The keywords are soul bravery, bloodline transmutation, divine justice. The gifts are, if they break generational loops with fire-hearted truth, defend vulnerability with fierce compassion, and alchemize rage into sacred action. The shadow side is hypervigilance. being constantly perceiving everything as a threat, constantly on a P's and Q's. Emotional shutdown, warrior martyrdom, meaning sometimes you'll throw yourself on a knife for other people. Using anger as armor rather than a purifier, meaning like you guard yourself instead of you guard yourself instead of remaining open and speaking your truth. Okay. All right. So the last thing is the sealing ritual. I only hear violet. Okay. And sapphire. Okay. Let's talk about that. The sapphire lineages. Actually, let me just pull up my flame readings because that'll probably be easier to get to it quicker. So sapphire flames are holders of divine structure, inner law, and cosmic design. They loop injustice, spiritual bypassing, control through righteousness, distortion of truth, cosmic variant, suppressed cosmic identity, and hyperlogical detachment. The shadow side is I must hold it all together. I must be right or I'll be erased. The healing is to surrender to inner harmony, harmonizing your inner truth with universal law. The violet, I'll give you the rose violet, which is compassion and resurrection. The thing that they loop is abandonment issues, a loss of the divine mother, or the feminine energy. So they move more into masculine energy. The fear of being left behind. The shadow story is I must overgive to be loved. The healing key is that they need to tend to themselves. They need to love themselves and remother themselves. Yellow is gold. Yeah. The other violet is the pale violet. The pale violet is soul remembrance. It loops amnesia, distrust of inner knowing, and spiritual confusion. The shadow story is I must rely on others to know what's true. A lot of times what I see with people who have this pale violet flame is they can't make no decisions by themselves. They always calling somebody. They always asking somebody. They always relying on somebody else to give them the answers. The healing key is inner clarity and multidimensional seeing, meaning that they can see across dimensions when they actually trust themselves. Okay. Hope I got everybody. I've been feeling a lot of rage around masculine energy too. Oh, that makes sense, babe. That makes sense. Okay. Alrighty, y'all. So let's seal this in. Let's seal this baby in. Okay. Hold on. Let me go back to my episode. And then we're going to do the last part, which requires the cloth. So if y'all ain't got y'all cloth, go get your cloth. OMG, no, rose violet resonates the most. Okay. That's probably one of your primary flame lineages, because that is a primary flame lineage, which I don't know if we're not going to have time to do today to do a flame mapping, but I'll be on tomorrow to do a flame mapping. But it won't be until 7 o'clock p.m. PT. So 7, 8, 9, 10, that's 10 ET, 9 Central Standard Time, because I have a late client tomorrow. So I'll do a free flame mapping for somebody tomorrow. It will be recorded though. So if you can't make it, it'll be on YouTube. Okay. So let's seal this in, all that we've done. What I want you to do is close your eyes, and I want you to imagine a spiral of flame moving up your spine. And the way that I see this is like two energies moving in a spiral, like almost like moving around each other up your spine. This is how I clear my spine too. One of the flames is blue and the other one is like a pinkish color. But you can do blue and violet, which are high vibrational energies, but you want, or blue and gold or whatever you want to do, but you want to see a flame spiral moving up your spine. And as it moves up your spine, and I do this when I breathe in, as I breathe in, I see it moving up my spine. And what you want to say is this spiral carries the remembrance that I have sealed for a time. As it rises, it burns away distortion and realigns the city within. I'm talking about your oversoul city. Okay. So see this spiral, close your eyes, see the spiral go up your spine, and say this spiral carries the remembrance I've sealed for a time. As it rises, it burns away distortion and realigns the city within. Feel it going all the way up. There we go. Ooh. Ooh. And then you want to end it with, I reclaim my sacred role in the oversoul spiral. I mirror the return. I remember the gate. Ooh. Yeah, sometimes I like motion with my hands because it helps me to move stuff up. Okay. All right. How did that feel? Ooh, there's like a buzzing, like a releasing around my heart space. Like I could feel pain around my heart space that's loosening up. And when it entered into the top of my back, like around my throat, some energy is right there that needs to be moved. Okay. So you want to see the flame spiral moving up your spine. This spiral carries the remembrance of what I sealed for a time. As it rises, it burns away distortion and realigns the city within. I reclaim my sacred role in the oversoul spiral. I mirror the return. I remember the gate. Yes, it's very tight. My spine is tight, honey. All right. Okay, and this is the kind of stuff that I'll do in the mirror circle. Okay, we'll have a meeting once a week to kind of do this type of work together for the collective. Some of them are, well, really it's not once a week, it's whenever astrology kind of aligns for it, but you will get a transmission each week, meaning like the questions that I went through earlier, which is the oh, that hurts, child. Which is what is returning right now, what must be reclaimed, what was falsely taken, mirror the gifts that people are carrying right now, and the spiral flame that's being activated. Okay. I felt burning pressure in my back and neck. It felt good, not bad. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So let's pull the final card. And this is going to be the closing card, the final collective card. Okay. And if y'all have any questions, let's do the last transmission and then I can answer any questions that y'all have. Well, actually, no, just if y'all have any questions, put them in the chat. You are welcome, my love. Okay, the Void Womb. This is one of my favorite cards. Okay, one of my favorite cards because a lot of us don't know how to sit the hell still. A lot of us, and when I say a lot of us, I'm talking about me. Low key shading myself. Okay, so the Void Womb is nothingness. It's pure potential. Okay, so the Void Womb is the sacred pause between cycles where nothing is formed yet, everything is possible. This card does not speak, it listens. It does not push, it holds. Nothing comes through force. This is the space before form, the resting place of your oversoul between cycles, lifetimes, and identities. It is where the unmanifest dreams, where silence cradles the next creation. In this space, your oversoul is rechoosing. Timelines unravel, contracts soften, identities dissolve. You are not broken, you are becoming. To pull this card is to be invited into deep pause, not because you're lost, but because something new is preparing to be born through you. The void womb appears when your soul has completed a major arc, but the next path has not been written. You are being held in pure potential. It is uncomfortable, it is quiet, and rich with unseen movement. You may feel still, dreamless, unmotivated, unclear. Do not force clarity. You are in sacred incubation. This is the space before the spark, the breath before the leap. This is the oversoul in gestation, the self becoming again. Let it be quiet, but let it be holy. The message is you are not lost, you are becoming in stillness. Emptiness is not lack, it is the space where new worlds begin. Okay. What I need you to understand about that is you need to sit in stillness. You need to sit with yourself. You need to stop running from yourself. Sit with yourself and let whatever come up, come up. Okay. Because whatever's coming up is only moving out the way for what is to come. Okay. Yes, just move out the way. Sit in stillness. I felt pressure in my neck. It felt like I was pressing, then dissolved. Okay, good. It burned through it. Good. I felt burning in my back. I felt it in my neck area. Good, 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 good. All right, y'all. Let's move on to the last part of this. All right. So this is the transmission that I have for you today. Okay. Before we move into the work we're about to do, reweaving the flame lineages, reweaving the sky scribe with the water memory. Okay. Yes, good. You see how powerful you are? Okay. You see how powerful you are? Now, beloved ones, Gather now in the sacred mirror. We come together not just to see each other, but to remember who we were before forgetting. There was a time when the sky and the ocean spoke the same language, when the divine masculine held the sacred script of protection and the divine feminine carried the song of origin in her breath. But something tore the cords between them and split in the earth's own remembrance. One became silent and the other became ache. And so we wondered, one half longing for truth and the other for touch, one shouting to be heard and the other singing to be felt. But now the sky is remembering and the ocean is singing back. We are here in this circle, in this time, to witness the reunion. We do not gather to fix, we gather to mirror, to offer back to this world the face of harmony, the face of sacred union within us and between us. Let this mirror be a gate. Let this voice be a bridge. Let this remembrance move through your body like the first tide returning to forgotten shores. We remember now, and through our remembrance, the earth will begin to hum again. Okay? So the purpose of this sky ocean reweaving ceremony is to anchor the unified oversoul tone of the masculine sky script and feminine oceanic memory into personal and collective field. The tools that you will need is a blue or a silver cloth, which represents the sky. Okay. You need a bowl of water with sea salt or rose petals. You need a white or a golden candle, or you can use pink. And you need your voice and your breath, because this is your wand in this reality, your voice and your breath. Okay. Let me move this out my way. All right. Okay. Now, the first thing you want to do is create a circle or an altar. Okay. I'm just going to make a mini altar on my desk. I'm at work, but my tools are mental. That's all you need, baby. You never need nothing but your imagination. Okay. So you want to lay the cloth down. You want to place the bowl of water at the center. And you want the candle to be at the top, like this. Okay. This is the water. This is the candle at the top end of the water. Okay. So just in front of the water like that. I hope, did y'all see that YouTube? You want to place it like this. This is the bottom. This is the top. Okay. Now you want to light your candle. Okay. Light your candle. And what you want to say is, I call forth the sky script, the memory of sacred protection, structure, clarity, and truth. Okay. Then you want to gaze into the water. You want to gaze into the water and you want to say, I call forth the oceanic memory, the song of deep feeling, soul knowing, and living memory. Breathe into your heart and place one hand on the candle and one hand on the bowl. Visualize a thread of light running from the flame to the water and from your mind to your womb or your heart space. Okay? Good. I restore the harmony. I release the war. I reweave the sound of creation within me. I restore the harmony. I release the war. I reweave the sound of creation within me. Ooh, it's a tingling. Close your eyes now and you just want to hum. Just let your body tone whatever it tones. I'm sorry, I'm moving too fast. I can go from the top. Okay, lay your cloth down. Place your bowl of water at the center and place the candle at the top. You want to light your candle and say, I call forth the sky script, the memory of sacred protection, structure, clarity, and truth. You want to gaze into your water. I call forth the oceanic memory, the song of deep feeling, of soul knowing, and living memory. Place one hand on the candle, one hand on the bowl. You want to breathe in and visualize a thread of light running from the flame to the water and from your mind to your heart space into your womb. I restore the harmony. I release the war. I reweave the sound of creation within me. I restore the harmony. I release the war. I reweave the sound of creation within me. I restore the harmony. I release the war. I reweave the sound of creation within me. Then you want to close your eyes and you want to hum, okay? Begin at your throat, then drop into your chest, and then into your belly. And let the tones shift. You don't have to be on tone, okay? You are letting your oversoul speak in its native tongue again, okay? You want to dip your hand into the water and you want to anoint your forehead, anoint your throat, and anoint your heart. Okay? What you want to say is, I remember, I remember, I remember, I am whole. Okay? I remember, I remember, I remember, I am whole. Take a moment of silence and just breathe deeply. Integrate. All right, y'all. When it comes to putting out the flame, you just want to take 2 fingers and close it, or you don't want to blow it out unless you have to blow it out. And if you have to blow it out, you just want to say, this is not me. This is me snuffing the flame, and just set your intentions. All right. How did that feel? I saw myself falling to my knees at the end of a race, being chased. Yeah, that fear that you can't hold your gift without being punished. That's what that is, Erica. Tingly, yes, girl. That's a sign that you're moving light through your body. Good job, my love. We are weaving it all back together. I feel tingly and grounded. I love that light. Good. I felt amazing and just felt good, 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 good. So that's some of the work that we're going to be doing in the next, in our Wednesday sessions over these next couple of weeks as we take a break before we move into the next series, which is the new Earth spiral. Okay. I wanted to take a moment so I can take a break because y'all know how I am. I burn out and I want to abandon y'all, which means I got to switch gears in the in between, in the interim. Okay. So, what we'll be doing over the next couple of weeks is rituals like this. Okay. Reconnecting with the earth, reconnecting with ourselves. So you can join me here every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 3 Central, 4 Eastern. Okay. Crying, yes, let it out. If it comes up, let it out. Okay. But yeah, we'll be doing some collective work because I think after learning everything about the past and Atlantis and Mu and the Lyran Wars and us moving into this new energy is really, really important for us to take time to integrate, take time to reweave what we can reweave, help the collective in the ways that we can, So these are going to be over the next couple of weeks, some of the things that we are doing. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do readings on live. A 1-card pool is $11. 3-card pool is $22, and a full reading is $33. But you can also just book a reading through my website. If you don't mind it happening on live, you can get my services for a lot cheaper. And the reason why I like that is because some people need to witness other people's remembrance, because that we are here to kind of activate each other. So we need a space where we can do that safely. And so those services are available on my website. Go check out my website. I got a whole bunch of new services. I'm done with the human design, redoing human design for the soul level. So today I'm going to add on there that service, and I'm probably going to take away the original human design, and I'm going to do a parenting coding session as well, so that you still get help with your kids and stuff. So that's not going to change, but I am going to stop doing human design from the mental lens, and it's going to be more of from the soul encoded lens, and for flame barriers and what flame lineages you may carry because of these oversoul what frequencies you have. But you got to understand that some frequencies are only activated by other people or at specific times in your life and stuff like that. So you don't carry all the frequencies, but you may move through some of the frequencies in different lifetimes, right? Tomorrow I am going to be doing a flame mapping. So I'll call somebody up and I'll do a free reading for them so that y'all can see what that flame initiation reading is about. This is really intricate. It took me a long time, a second to put this fucking together. It's okay if you feel drained, my love. Make sure you're clearing your energy. But it took me so long to put these packages together because I wanted to make sure that I'm helping people who, actually want to be helped, and making sure that it's aligned with me as well. And so those flame readings are up, the codex readings are up, but again, you can get it cheaper if you hop on live and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I love y'all deep. Thank y'all for joining me. This will be available on YouTube. And I will talk to y'all soon. Have an amazing rest of y'all week. I'll see y'all tomorrow if y'all hop on for the flame mapping session. Okay. Oh, you're so very welcome. You're welcome. So do I need to do human design again? Yeah, I mean, the thing is, this is a completely different service. This is actually telling you what gifts you get from from the human design energy. And so right now I don't have it up on my website, but I plan on putting it up as soon as I get off a line with you guys. But this is a completely different service. It's just using human design as the soul technology it was supposed to be used at, instead of figuring out what your energy is and try how to get yourself into alignment. This is more so about figuring out what your gifts are and how to get you in alignment with your gifts. So it's a different service though. Tomorrow I'll be on at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So that's 10 Eastern and 9 Central. Okay. I know it's late, but I got a late client, so I can't hop on until later. But I actually like going live around 7, 8 o'clock anyways, but my time. So yeah, I'll be on here tomorrow and I will see you guys then. Check out my website, check out my new services, and yeah, that's it, girl. Check out the Oversoul Codex again. It don't matter where you are in your journey. This codex was meant to help you on your path back to remembrance. It's similar to traditional tarot, but a lot of it is very, very different. It's very specific to the 144,000. And I wish I would have had something like this when I was on my way or on my journey. And it's a good way for you to build your intuition. But eventually, I do expect that you will start to depend on yourself. Right now, I do have a pre-order available for $33, but you have to be willing to wait because I got to get 50 people to purchase the deck in order for me to purchase it. So we almost there, you know, but if you want it right now, you can purchase it. So many people have written me in the last 3 days. I've had, I think 4 people said that they got their deck and they so excited to use it. So here it is. It's gorgeous. She's a beaut. You know, look at that. One of my favorite cards. She is a beaut. Okay. But yeah, this is for us. And even if you can't afford the deck right now, that is perfectly fine. You can get on my website and just pick a card a day. Go down and whatever image catches your eye, before you click on it, decide upright or shadow. And then click on it and then go to that section. There's rituals that you can do there. There's lessons. I tried to make this very independent. Okay. So I love y'all deep. I will see y'all tomorrow and have an amazing rest of y'all day. Ready.